solution to this problem is decentralization of the security. The state has perhaps the highest number of Amotekun operatives in the southwest. I think Ekiti has probably about 300. So unless they are more empowered, and it requires a lot of money to be able to fund them. So we hope that the incoming government, we assist non-state, civil organizations that are also involved in security matters. And also we need to be thinking of state policing, community policing, which we have been, treating with kid gloves all these years. The National Assembly needs to see this issue as a major problem. And I have confidence that the incoming administration, given the background of the president and the vice president, I believe that state policing, community policing will be one of the kernel principles that will be tabled, to the parliament so that we can have some level of authority.
Yeah, live from TVC News in our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria, and we're still looking at the security situation across the country. Banditry. Babajide?
Yes, if we, part of what Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu hopes to do to address this problem is forest rangers. The use of forest rangers.
Is part of his
yes, it's in his manifesto. He's going to use forest rangers to police our long abandoned forests.
So
we have forest
reserves
that have now been taken over by bandits.
Yes, Fagu forests,
Falgore, even the Kainji National Park. Kainji Lake National Park is now taken over by bandits. Shiroro, that we used to go and look at the dam and all that. Shiroro, today, bandits have turned Shiroro to their
hideout.
Yes, they're operating with reckless abandon there. In at least 8 to 9 local governments in Niger State, bandits are running riot. They've even colonized some of the communities and chased farmers away. So we cannot deceive ourselves that the problem is no longer there. That the problem was not reported does not mean that it was not there. Those boys were active. Remember our people who went to cover the election in Niger State. They reported seeing bandits even on the road in the Shiroro area. They didn't attack people who were going to do election, but they manned the highway. Magama, all of those, Rijau, which is along the border with Kebbi State, those local governments.
It seems to be a thriving industry, as in a growing industry, as a result of unemployment, as a result of poverty.
Let me tell you, any piece of business, any business that has a huge profit margin, you will kill Nigerians, they will not stop doing it. President Buhari ran a dual dictatorship with Idi Agbon in 1984. They killed people for drug trafficking. Has drug trafficking been banished?
At all.
People will take the risk.
Till tomorrow.
Even at that time, people were still being arrested. You've seen people executed for drug trafficking.
And even some nations.
Even possession of drugs country, you see people, because they believe that if they get away with it, they will be very rich and they will build big houses in their villages. But you may never come back alive. This is the problem. Banditry is much more lucrative than other crimes. Look at those who kidnapped the train passengers. I always talk about them.
Yes.
100 million per head. In the case of the Pakistani, they actually took 200 million.
So do your calculation.
200 million from an individual.
If they had collected 100 million from 20 people.
And they collected the money in dollars. So if somebody sits here and is fooling himself that, because we did Naira confiscation, that, they will not kidnap again, they will ask for foreign currency. The same way that the train passengers ask for foreign currency. Ask the members of the family of the people, since they've all been released now, not rescued, they've all been released. Ask them whether it wasn't dollars that they paid. So we just
you'll be misusing that word when you say rescued.
no, me I will use it appropriately. You can't negotiate because when you said there should not be ambiguity in the use of the English language. When you say rescue, it suggests that the military
Without
launched
paying anything,
an operation
to sludge those guys,
and even made arrests.
yes.
That was not what happened. For everyone,
How many of them are behind?
for everyone
behind bars now?
that for everyone that was released, money was paid in foreign currency. So this is what happened. We cannot deceive ourselves that come and say rescue because we like using the word rescue so liberally that we forget the meaning. So they were released by their captors. So hopefully we must come up with a new strategy. The next set of service chiefs, the next set of police IG that will come in with the new administration, with the incoming administration,
Come down hard.
must be able to find a solution to this nonsense. They have suffered Nigerians for too long. Bandits can't be behaving like they own our country or swaths of land in our country. They don't own our country. So we have to show them who is in charge. And I'm hopeful that by the time we get more equipment in and we get our tactics right, honestly, we'll be able to defeat these people.
All right. Next one. Former chairman of the body of benchers, BOB, Wole Olanipekun, SAN, has condemned the call for an interim national government, describing the call as invitation to anarchy. Olanipekun warned those behind the call to immediately perish such because it is a situation that would consume everyone, including those in support of it. Olanipekun, who cited cases from developed countries where election outcome had been disputed, urged those aggrieved to exploit the opportunities provided by the Constitution and the statute, having gone to courts. He recalled the unpleasant experience the nation had under the last interim government experiment of late Chief Ernest Shonekon in the country, describing it as a wind that would blow no one any good. Wole Olanipekun, a respected senior advocate of Nigeria and a former member of the Nigerian Bar Association, because it's as if it's not like a sing-song. Yeah. You are about to transit to, another administration. All of a sudden, I don't know where that thing popped up from. And every day you keep hearing interim government, on the basis of what I don't understand.
You see, in this country, the history of this country, there are a few people that want to sustain stunted growth for Nigeria. They don't want the country to breathe. And these are very few elements who have been controlling Nigeria since the 1960s. If you look at our history, all the head of states we have had, or civilian head of states, have been rotating, the choice of very few people. You talk of Gowon, you talk of Danjuma, you talk of Obasanjo, you talk of Bashar. And they were the actors, the coups of 1960s. Since that time, for about almost going to 60 years now,
you must visit
they have been holding the country, like this. If you look at the civilian heads of state president we have had, from Shagari, they brought him in. After that, the next civilian government, Abiola, they were the one that brought him. They didn't hand over to him. They are the one that brought President Obasanjo anyway, who was also part of them. Buhari that is going now was part of them. Two of them became president and head of state twice. It has been rotating among those 9 people. Danjuma was the only one among them that did not become head of state, but was the defense minister. This is the first time we are having truly civilian democratic president that is not a product, because they didn't want these winners. They never wanted them. They wanted to impose.
They were singing with the same.
Yes, so people have been manipulating the oil sector, manipulating all sorts of things. They don't want to let go. You can see how they are running up and down. But it is too late, because over 20 million people have elected someone. So some 5 people, 6 people now sit down and say, we are wiser than this over 20 million people. The whole world will laugh at you. We've had a similar experience when Shonekon was brought in. Interim government, there's not like interim government, it's military rule. It's just, you know,
the Minister of Defense was so strong under
they brought in
Shonekon. Abacha was the Minister of Defense.
After 3 months, they will just use him to stabilize. That's why they call him Fidie, you know, sitting with one slice of your buttocks. He's their candidate. They brought him in after 3 months, they edged him out, and then came in full force. So any attempt to talk about interim government, in fact, are you saying that you did it 30 years ago? People were patient enough. There were demonstrations. They grounded the country.
Like 72
People were
days
forced to leave the country in droves, in thousands. You know, the economy collapsed. We became a patriot state. The whole world was talking about us and abusing and insulting us. Now, what kind of country are you? 30 years after, you want to bring Nigeria nearly experienced civil war during that June 12. I'm telling you, a lot of things happened. People were patient. They waited. Now there was an election. They have elected someone. That time they even stopped the announcement of the result. This one, you have announced the election. We have known the winner. The state governors, I say we have known the winner. You now say you want to remove them and put it in the government. That's a very crazy thing to do. For people to even think of that thing, it tells you the infinite capacity of people to underestimate the will and determination of Nigerians. I think nobody will ever try that kind of. If they try it, look, they just want to let this country burn, and they should be conscious of the implication on West African sub-region. So as far as the whole world is concerned, we are waiting for the swearing in of the people that have been elected, and we hope from that level we can move the country forward.
Jide, it's as if, you know, our politicians, they are used to this, they are not used to this spirit of fair play. That's, yes, when there's a winner, everybody will gather together and say, congratulations, you won. Next time, I'll try. But our own now, the kind of politics we are playing, if it's not me, that's when you have somebody that came third in an election who say, it is my election, it is my mandate, it was stolen from me. I want to retrieve my mandate. It's either I retrieve my mandate or the roof will come down. That's the tone. That's the rhetorics that we are getting to hear from politicians now.
You know, how people came to convince themselves that the person who came third was actually the winner of the election is what still baffles me, because I am as curious as any Nigerian to see how Peter Obi wants to prove that he won this election. I'm as curious, because it will be the 8th wonder of the world for him to successfully prove that he won this election. And you can see that his supporters are the noisiest. They are even noisier than the man who came second.
Atiku Abubakar.
Yes, they are noisier than Atiku. Because the problem is, Atiku in the north, Atiku won those states. Largely, he won those key states in the north. In fact, I would say he won all the key states in the north.
Strategic states.
He won them. The biggest states, yes, apart from
Kaduna, Katsina.
He won them. Now, what is he going to be complaining about? That he didn't win those states with the margin that he wanted? I mean, if that was the case, how many people are protesting from northern Nigeria? How many protests have you seen from Kano, from Kaduna, from Borno?
Or maybe Peter will be saying he won this Kano, Kaduna, Katsina.
But he defeated Kwankwa, so
maybe he was robbed in those areas.
You know some of the
voter suppression here.
You know, some of the people who actually came up with dodgy opinion polls, they actually gave him higher marks. They gave him a higher possibility of winning Kano than Kwankwa. So it was at that point I gave up on them, that anybody would think that Peter Obi can defeat Kwankwa. So Kwankwa so did not do rally in Kano, and he still got those votes. Even the APC people that he defeated, they have conceded defeat already. He didn't do a rally. He was planning to do a rally at the rally too for that day, and the police felt, look, if we allow the two of them, yes, it will lead to. So it didn't happen. So in spite of not doing a rally, you know how many rallies APC had? I know that Asiwaju must have gone to Kano at least 3 or 4 times. And yes, yet somebody didn't do rally and he got those votes. That is the person that some opinion polls claimed that Obi was going to defeat in Kano. Maybe now, they still believe that those opinion polls, including the one by Atedo Peter side,
yeah.
maybe they still believe that those opinion polls that they did with only people who had Android phones. How many people in those rural areas where they don't even have light, where there is no product? When they start coming out, you say, what? I remember my colleague, Ike Okonta, when Bashir Tofa was going to contest, he said, Jide, let's go to Tofa's village.
In Kano.
And then we went there. I was the one who interviewed Bashir Tofa. He didn't grant an interview in the months leading to that election, except the one he granted me. I was the one who interviewed him. The kind of people I saw, crowd, people, not like they brought them from somewhere, who were residents in that community. God. So, and these are largely farmers and traders. How many of them can operate an Android phone? You are doing opinion poll based on Android phone. And when the opinion poll doesn't go against you, you want to bring the roof down. You are saying you are the one who won the election. Which election did you win? The facts show that you didn't win this election. People are wondering, Jide, you have changed. Somebody sent me a birthday message. He said, I love you, but you have changed. Because I refuse to agree that Obi won the election. If that is what will turn you to my enemy, good luck to you. But I know that I'm standing on the truth. This election has been won and lost. Those delusional people who went to the defense headquarters to kneel down, that military should take over.
I took another
Have they been told stories?
Yes, I look at them. I watched the video again yesterday, and I saw the age average, and I said, "Oh, that's why this Indomie generation." Yeah, it's Indomie.
They don't know what military regime means
because the last administration was under General Salam Abubakar, and he left office in 1998.
You know, Abdul Salami was even a gentleman.
He spent 10 months.
They just come and see military rule under Abacha.
No, my
5 years.
My thesis was on press freedom under military rule, a case study on Sani Abacha. That was what I wrote. That's what I wrote my BSc thesis on.
I was reading someone who was talking about president. Which president?
You would have cell phone. We were not allowed to.
For where we were talking. If you remember, we used to talk about Republic of Benin, Ghana, that women, market women, that they had cell phone. That time, we used to have in Ghana, everywhere they had cell phone. It was a luxury to us.
They drive around, they pick people, load them. You don't even know what happens to them.
Even if you are his mate, the way Abacha dealt with Shehu Musa Yaradua, his boss in the army, you are moving him from the prison here in Lagos. He ended up in Abakaliki prison and died there. These boys don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know.
People who were tortured in the DMI underground cell.
They don't know.
Tortured. Some of them died.
Yes.
Many people were getting missing.
In the last how many weeks, Richard Akinola, our friend, he has been doing the kind of compendium. Go to his Facebook page. Go and check those that were tortured, those that were arrested, those that were missing. He has been doing the kind of compendium on the military rule. You need to... Terrible days.
So many people. They don't know what they're talking about. And you know the unfortunate thing about this unreading generation is they believe that it is their own view that has to be correct.
If you
disagree with them,
I'm telling you,
you are not a human being.
I'm telling you.
Now you don't even have to be a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old to be able to talk about military rule.
Just read.
Because it's documented, for God's sake. It's documented. As I said before, I said, look, I did not see Yom Kippur War. I did not see the 6-day war between the Israelis, between Israel and the Arab war. But I can tell the story.
Bekololari got a fax.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the fax he got, he was paraded as one of the coupists.
Yeah.
The facts was, look, okay, do you know what the facts was about?
Was just
you know what the facts was about?
Reason, nothing.
The person who was going to defend one of the coupists. Now, the defense was what if he wanted him to see, so that he can help in terms of the advocacy for freedom. Just LMO Fabi, who was head of the Navy's legal department, is from my town. My dad has said I should not call it village anymore. He's from my town. They picked him up, tried him for coup. It's the same charge in the real sense. This is help me pass this on to someone. Because Fadile was involved. Ronkaba. And the next thing, people that they felt over time had been aggrieved, who had been cheated in the army over the years, some brilliant people that they made them to suffer, they now went and was picking them one by one. Because they felt that the situation would make them want to do. What did Guadabe, for example, what did he do?
The interview you had with Duncan Bali.
Yes.
I still saw the back page day before yesterday when the wife reacted that Duncan Bali said perhaps that he cannot say categorically that those guys were.
That's Vasak.
Mama Vasak.
Yes, he said there was no evidence. I sat down with him in a Ikoyi golf club, and he was drinking his club beer. Me now, my favorite beer at that time was Gouda. I was drinking my Gouda, and he said at that time there was no evidence in the real sense of the word that they kept thinking what could have caused.
They just had to rope
these people that they were good friends, very good friends. One was even what's it called, best man to the other. He said they must have and failed to forgive one another. You know. So, there are so many brilliant people like that in the army wasted on account of a coup. Yes. Just wasted.
When Ajayi was arrested and kept in a cemetery for about 2 years. When he came back from that cemetery, he was no longer himself. He died just about 3 years ago.
Yes.
One of the most brilliant military officers this country has ever produced.
So many of them.
And so many of them, even including journalists.
Some will be kept in solitary confinement.
What was Kunle Ajibade's crime?
Fire me.
They came to our office, they wanted to pick me. I was the one who wrote the story.
And Kunle Ajibade was the editor.
Yes.
And they picked him up.
And you know, that if I had gone to office early that day, they would have picked me. But Faleke's house was not far from the office, so I was still lounging. Because I came here to hide for 2 months. Now, when they came to that place and they didn't see me, they then went to our second office. That is where Sweet Sensation is now. It was there that they picked Kunle Ajibade. They picked him the first time, they took him away. This DSS here, they released him. And then they started arguing among them, why did you release him? Who told you to release him? And they had to pick him up the second time. That's how he was sentenced to jail. He was not a coup plotter. How can a Kunle Ajibade...
Tomorrow, they've not revisited that case.
Yes.
And a lot of them like that.
Fayemi was picked from Benin Republic, abducted from Benin Republic, and taken to DMI here. And kept there for months.
Be there, be talking about telling national government.
They don't even know what they are
talking about. Don't know what they are talking about.
Talking absolute rubbish.
This mobile thing,
God will not allow you
that kind of setback.
Achieve that aim. We have gone through it. We will not like it.
It's not a good story at all.
No sense of history. Don't read. Lazy, ambitionless, unreading generation.
Executive Secretary of Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, Amid Boboyi, has expressed concern over the upsurge of cultism, financial crime, also known as Yahoo Yahoo, and other social vices in the nation's education system. According to him, cultism, almost similar to ancient Egyptian cults, last practiced about 100 BC, is now springing up in the system. He noted that many of the social vices are now prevalent in the basic education schools. Jide, this is what they major in minor. This is what they are good at. So, you know, you want to see...
You want to make money quickly.
Yes, a 21-year-old boy want to ride Ferrari, Bugatti, Rolls Royce, Lamborghini Countach.
No, they like,
you know,
High Life.
You want to know that.
And they like clubbing and
yes,
partying. And when they go to
they want to attend orgy parties.
When they go to a club, they will spend so much money. They can spend millions.
They'll show the receipts.
They can sell millions in a...
6 million.
Anybody who made this money,
Spades,
tell me.
Moe, NSC, everything, they will list it. 6 million something in one night.
If you made your money through genuine means, or you suffer to make your money, will you go and squander some millions at a club in one day? So these guys, and education to them is even not of value. Because
no, they are non-academic students. No, you won't see them in the classroom.
They are
NASU. You won't see them in the classroom.
Non-academic students.
Yes, it's laptop throughout.
You know,
go to any swimming pool, go to any hotel.
You know, when we were in the University of Ilorin, and people sit in the common room, just drinking their life away. We used to call them NASU, non-academic students union. Yes, later on, we changed it from NASU to LASU, lazy, ambitionless students union. So we started calling them LASU. That they would drink and drink. Some have spent 7 years in school. And they are not. So you ask, what kind of parents do
you
these ones have?
find some students, they will be with us. They don't have matric number. Yeah. They will be coming for lectures. They will be impersonating. Yes, but no matriculation number. They will just be there.
It's not a student. Yeah. If you don't have matriculation number, you are not officially a student.
God.
The get rich quick syndrome is a big one. It's a big problem now. So a lot of these boys, they want to be in the company of beautiful girls.
Yeah.
You know. The fellow who doesn't have enough money to be able to attract a bevy of beautiful undergraduates,
you are dead without
he will
money
think
now.
that, why now? What kind of world is this?
No,
so they will go and join Yahoo gangs. You know, they train them now. They are training schools.
Yes.
They are training schools for Yahoo.
And they stepped it up, Yahoo Plus.
Yes. So, and a lot of them, they just bribe their teachers, wayward teachers. They just bribe them. They will give them good grades. They are not interested in first class, so just let me pass. They will give their teachers money. You know, sometimes teachers will park a car and say, go and fill the tank. Some things that were not happening during our time. When I hear stories now, I'm like, what is this country turning to? A teacher will park a car. Even you don't even know the difference between teachers and lecturers and students anymore. You go and park the car in front of the student's house, and then say, my car is there, the key. I put the key for ignition. Go and fill the tank. These boys, they hardly attend lectures. They are truants. They are truants, but they will pass through the university system, and then they will get degrees. Some in that same university system, some girls who are brilliant, because they refuse to cooperate, you punish them. You make sure that they don't graduate on time. Give them extra year. You will say, no, it's not the money that you want. It's that thing. You know, that same thing is what will eventually kill you.
Eventually.
So the man, I think the UBEC director, executive director has. Actually,
I don't know, maybe.
He has struck a chord. He has sent a clear message to us that the way things are going, values have collapsed totally. The young people, we are going to lose them completely given what is going on. Because if you don't have money, you then feel like you should go and join them. Even those who are joining cultists, it's the same reason. They want to have some power. They want to be able, and you know, sometimes some of the cult groups, when they are able to recruit rich men's children, they too have some money, you know. So people want to be like others, and they ask themselves, how do we do it? Except we resort to Yahoo or this cultism within the university system. In our time, in my time, in the University of Ilorin, not that we didn't have cultists, but you would not even know. You won't know them. Abi during your time too. It wasn't something today.
It's not something you pose with. It's
Yes.
not something you
Today.
thump your chest with. I'm a cultist.
Cultist.
You see a organizer.
No, that's even taking it outside the education system.
Yeah, it's aye.
They've now all the professional groups too. They now have cultists. They now have cultists. It's gone beyond the way it used to be. You know, our people, once they get involved in something, until they now bastardize it, they will not relax. So, and that's why they are also very violent. The killings that are happening on campus, they are the ones to blame. So there is a lot that needs to be done, and it has to start from the family.
Yeah.
It's not the schools that will sanitize the system. It's a family. Family has to, individual families have to work.
And sometimes some of my siblings will just, they just look at me and they just call me. They'll say, I'm a Jew-man. No, Jew-man. Yeah. That if you are not part of them, there's a way you dress, there's the face cap you wear, beret you wear, belt you wear. When they see you, they identify that you are part of them. And
when the UBEC chairman spoke, and he drew an analogy, with the ancient Egyptian cult, some 600 BC. I think it's frightening, but that is the graphic image of what we are seeing in our schools. In those days, in 600 BC, before in Egypt, the cults, they used to mutilate people. They used dogs as private guards, and then they also ran private police, and they used to kill people just anyhow. They were above the law, young men. And they worship what they call Set, the god of storm, a trickster. That is exactly what is happening, not just in public schools, but also in private schools.
Even in private schools.
We are now having a situation where teachers will be beaten up, principals will be kidnapped, drug. Girls are also into courtism.
Yes.
They are into violence. So there is I think it's a reflection of, leadership failure, the decline of our values, moral and financial corruption. And I think the danger is this. You see, when children are growing up, John Locke says, tabula rasa, nothing in the head. The child grows up by the material relations. What happens? Peer groups influence. Whether a child is going to be violent, whether a child is going to be a criminal, it starts from the kind of ideas you are pumping into the subconsciousness. What they watch on TV, what they learn in schools. Remember in our days, when we were in primary schools, there was education with character. Iwalewa.
Múrasíṣẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi, iṣẹ́ la fi gbé
iṣẹ́ lóògùn iṣẹ́ tó bá múrasíṣẹ́ tó bá gbógílé wọn tẹ́tẹ́ yí ẹsẹ̀ rẹ̀ sí apá ọ̀tún má ṣe tẹ kòkòrò ní kòkòrò tí wọn kò láàánì ní Olúwa ló lè dá. They are telling you not to step on an ant. If they are telling you not to step on an ant, how can you dream of killing a human being?
Yes.
You understand the point? So kí ni ó fò lè ṣe láyé tí mo jẹ́, why will I do being a criminal? Now, instead of being a criminal, I would rather be a slave. So you will learn those things by heart. Today you learn about 4 claws of tortoise. Tortoise stealing and the calamity will be fall.
It's dubious brain.
When you see money on the ground, you'll be thinking of thunder striking you, you pick it. And of course, through that, we're able to produce the likes of Achebe, Soyinka. We dominated the world. Yes. Almost everywhere in Europe, everywhere. Nigerians were being sought after. Today, we can't compete with Ghana. Ghana, even Togo, we are sending our children to go to school there. Yeah. They graduate, nobody wants to give them job. Or like in those days that before you graduate, people are looking for you in Europe, in Asia. They are looking for Nigerian graduates. So the danger is that, it's so sweet for these children while they are growing up. But I tell you, it ends on a bitter note. It's so sweet, it's journey that you enjoy. At the end of the day, it's self-destruction. And that is why, just like Babajide said, the family, the students, the military came, they removed those books from our syllabus. We need to go back to those, education with culture. So that these days, what is happening? Go to primary schools. They are contesting election to choose the class captain. To choose the class captain,
and they also even vote buying too.
You bring Rabena.
Vote buying,
and they don't fail. They don't repeat again. In most of this private school, they don't repeat.
In those days,
why will you tell the parents?
Classes will close by 2:00. There were rooms for sports, so that you can discover talents of students. These days, they close by 4:00. Sometimes they say extra lesson. They will ask the students to go and pay 10,000 naira extra lesson. If
No,
you are
it's
paid
all
your salary,
to make money.
what is the essence of saying, and if you don't pay,
Officially,
sometimes-
they solve WAEC mathematics.
Yeah.
They solve it on the
So
board.
there's no time for
doing
sports,
WAEC.
there's no time for
siesta.
social debate, there's no time for variety debate and also things that made the complete human being.
People they
We are beauty leaders.
they look at the VP today.
Yeah.
Oshibajo. Oshibajo was the undisputed debate champion in Lagos.
Maybe college when he's speaking now,
Yeah.
Yes, that's how he was
you
raised.
can't beat him.
Undefeated in the debate competitions here in Lagos.
All round.
In fact, someone told me a story. I don't know whether it's false. Maybe on the day I see the VP again, I will ask him. They said his partner fell sick, and he had to. He had to debate during the time that his partner should have debated, and he still ended up winning.
You see?
You can imagine. The two of us would represent the school in debate.
Yes,
That
yes,
one fell sick at the last minute. Only the VP was ready. And he still went, debated against them alone, and still won.
Quality.
You know? So you know that this is a person raised in the heart of public speaking. And it has grown with him. It has grown with him. But these days, children are not brought up properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All this, even flogging of children that you cannot do now. Before you even attempt to flog, they will go and bring police to arrest you. They were flogging us now. They were flogging us, and we are better for it.
Flogging us.
They are flogging us. They will flog me in school. My dad will still flog me at home.
Yes.
My mom will still flog
Yes.
me.
Oh,
As I've
God.
said, you know, if you, the ill luck, the worst ill luck that can befall you is for both parents to be teachers. And both of them don't spare the rod. They will even be competing for who will beat you first.
Ah.
You know, the interesting thing for me is that my dad, my mom cannot stand my dad flogging me. So my dad would remind him, say, did I stop you when you wanted to beat him? You can imagine.
I see it's a competition.
The two of them beat me. Yet, when the other one is beating me.
Let's go for a break.
So if my mom wants to beat me, usually my dad will not be there.
It's Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back after this breather. Please stay with us.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
It's always a great morning on the TVC Breakfast Show
Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
with the array of stories that matter and what's behind them.
As you say, the first blow indicates the direction of government.
Tell us what really is going on between your union and the federal government.
Once it's generated, he has
Don't use it, it's waste.
We are not even sure whether we have a strategy for security.
Are you saying that there was nothing wrong in that?
Was he the one driving the taxi?
Answer the question.
Reveal your morning with all you need to know.
Like
Yes, just mundane lyrics.
Yes.
How does that fit into your scheme of events or duties right now?
No, General.
Right, because this is the breakfast show that adds to your breakfast. TVC Breakfast, weekdays at 7 a.m. only on TVC News.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field.
Taking you through as it happens.
It's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
With investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sports, entertainment, and business news, so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
Politics is defined as getting what, where, when, and how. But in the mix, many things come to play to shape the political fortune of any country.
Honorable Minister, that's how you misinform the public.
From the political actors to the electorate, campaign to voting, from debates to policy decisions, big events happen to engage us in constant conversation.
That's what we're looking for. Not some people who are talking about ethnicity. No.
Who is on your mind?
Don't worry.
Join me every day on Politics Tonight, where we dissect issues that shape our political destiny. Politics Tonight, weekdays on TVC News.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're live on TVC News here. I still have Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Wale Adeoye in the studio. Ahead of the 2023 election, Nigeria witnessed an unprecedented level of religious politics where some pastors within and outside the country tantalized their members with divine hearsay and prophecies supposedly from God. Let's share some of the comments made by pastors about the elections with you.
God will raise another man out of the southeast whose agitation is after the order of God. The nation will gather around him, not only the southeast. And in that day, a southeasterner will rule Nigeria.
I said, after Buhari, who is the next president who will sit on the seat called the throne of Nigeria in Asorok? I will tell you the name is Yemi Oshibat, except when the man says no. But mark my word, he will be offered. The presidential election will be peaceful. Don't be afraid. There will not be killings. Go out and vote. However, so because there is no money to buy vote, he will lose in the polls. But already there is a partnership with a man in the system that will cause the vote to be rigged. So suddenly I saw the numbers dropping, and I saw INEC announcing BAT as the winner. However, follow me. I even saw what he was wearing. He was announced winner, and we will see a video where we'll do like this. The video will trend. A revolution is coming. A greater than MSAS is coming. People, the doors will be shut. You will not go to work. You will be in your houses. How will this revolution start? Hear me. How will the revolution start? Somehow, the information will spill out that the election was rigged. Then the youth will get to the street. It won't just be Lagos. It will be almost every state of Nigeria. The youth will get to the street and they will start the protests. These protests will lead to a revolution. You hear me? Peter Obi will go to court. He will go to court. The interim government will not be long. No. The interim government will not be long, and after a while, the court will declare Obi as winner of the election. However, like I told you, it will be rigged, and you hear number one is Bat, number two is Obi, number three is Atiku.
You have to look in the spirit. And in the spirit, I saw the first one I mentioned yesterday. And it was a devil, an evil spirit, a wicked spirit that was wearing his face. So in the spirit, the second one, I said, what about him? What about the second one? He said, if you let him get in office, you will have no country. I said, Lord? Who let the second one in office will have no country. He said, you will have no country. Then in the spirit, I saw the third one. He was afraid. He was afraid he might win now. He was afraid of losing. He didn't want to lose, but he was almost scared of winning. I said, Lord? Then he says, pray. I said, God of heaven, give him wings to fly. The third one, his name is in the Bible. Let me finish.
We cancel the Tinubu presidency in Nigeria. We decree from this altar that that result will not stand. That you will raise up a mighty wave of opposition, mighty wave of resistance until that election is cancelled. I decree a revolt in the name of Jesus.
If any man born of a woman brought up by CS become the governor of Akwa Ibom State 2023, and it is not Basi Alba, cut off one of my arms. Cut off one of my arms. I'm the Jeremiah of this nation. Anybody that become a governor 2023 and it's not Basi Alba, cut off one of my arms. For all this evil that is going on, two things will happen. Everyone who takes the money to carry out this wickedness, the wickedness is coming back to them. And the political party sponsoring it, there is a terrible thing that will happen. There's kind of defection that will occur around your party. You will ask me question. My name is Philip Osum. I don't fear any man, no man born of a woman. I'm a messenger of Jehovah El Rahi, the God that sees. I'm the Jeremiah of this nation. I'm waiting for 2023. I can be angry with Basi Albert, but I can never terminate the divine mandate of God. I can never terminate that divine mandate. Come 2023, I said earlier today, I needed this money, he would come. I don't need one kobo from him. 2023, if Basi Albert does not become the governor, Mr. Udom Gabriel governor, Gabriel Emmanuel, His Excellency, our amiable governor, God bless you. If Basi Albert is not the governor 2023, cut off one of my hands, and you will forever fear me anywhere you hear my name. My name is Philip Osum. I am waiting. The war has just begun.
Okay, all this embarrassed the founder of Adoration Ministries in Enugu State, Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka, who said these pastors got it wrong this time for jumping into politics. The outspoken cleric who addressed a large crowd of Christians in an open space knelt before a raised altar with head bowed and asked that the mercy of God descend on church in Nigeria, on the church in Nigeria. Just watch Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka.
I apologize on behalf of the whole men of God, the whole pastors, the whole priests, the whole bishops. I apologize. I'm not worthy to apologize for bishops, but I'm apologizing. Let the mercy of God descend. Because what we did within this political moment, a lot of indescribable political brouhaha and political jingoism and a lot of atrocities we manifested and buried the power of the sacrament beneath political forces, political hawks and vultures. And they want to vulturize the church. And we turned the church into campaign centers. We turned the church into a place for politicking. We messed up the altar. We defiled the altar of the Most High God. How do you want power to move from such altar that have been defiled? We cannot continue with such iniquities. I am Anganiru Nalolo another toa. I major Chuku. And I was only about Kuzima de Bag Bianca. Ebaka Gesimeya. Ebesere mother, Seno Chuku na one amonso. I thought we gutora. I wrote to Chuku Yezem Mando. Or you were Chuku Weda Pasia. You were Chuku Kasokoza. Manam na you bury Chuku. I pray that God will forgive us. Forgive us, O Lord. Forgive us, O Lord. Forgive their church. Forgive your church. Forgive Christianity in Nigeria. We have gotten it wrong this time. Amen. Just let it be like this. If you want to misunderstand it, that is your business. I am apologizing to God to have me.
So today is Sunday. So for those of you don't know me, I'm a product of Reverend Samuel Akimode in Sadela. I was born and brought up, raised up by men of God, pastors around, pastors, minister of God. Jide, you have your own denomination, you're a Christian, and this not in any way to impugn our men of God. But Wale, I believe you're a Christian too.
My father was a pastor in the Anglican Church.
Okay, okay. My late father too was a pastor. My mother is still a deaconess. But when we see things that when we were growing up we never experienced happening now, we have, our responsibility is to bring it
to say the truth. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
We
it's
don't
not
care if your pastor happened to be part of these people that actually predicted that that person has a Bible name and predicted one to be a jackal and predicted that another one is a vampire, qualified everybody at the end of the day.
This is the first phase because there are still many pastors that we did not feature.
Yes.
This is the first phase.
Yes.
And look, some of the, I can say the church has contributed to heating of the politics. The name calling on the altar, abuse being rained on some political parties is unheard of. Within a church, there will be people who belong to different political parties.
Everybody.
You know, a situation in which
tendencies.
you try to demonize some political parties, that's not the job of the pastor. You are supposed to bring everyone to salvation. I've never seen anything like this, and I'm not surprised that this is the outcome, because a lot of these were not based on somebody's opinion. You're standing before the church and presenting your opinion, said the Lord.
And everybody clap.
Yes, because look at everywhere, almost everywhere, you see people talking about how the pastors got it wrong and all that. Look at the one who said if Albert Bassi. Yes, the Senator Albert Bassi does not win, they should cut off his hand. I'm sure he must be he must be hiding his hand from being cut, because I don't understand. If you said they should cut off your, and if they get hold
to lynch him, Senator Bassi was not announced.
No,
it's not the governor.
It's not the governor.
It's the pastor that
he did not even come second. Look at, was it Pastor Faye talking about interim government? You can now see why some people are insistent on this interim government, because they had it from their pastor.
Church, go and pray.
They had it from their pastor. And he said, Asiwaju, when they call him, Asiwaju then dance buga, so to say. I didn't see him. I stayed awake here on the day that he was announced. I was analyzing here. I didn't see the man raise his shoulder, you know, the way it had been predicted. And
the video with Trent.
Yes, and you can see Pastor Ejike Mbaka, Father Ejike Mbaka said, they buried the power of the sacrament on the altar of politics. He said, they turned the church to a campaign ground. Power cannot move from a desecrated altar. He then began to pray to God. I said, Forgive your church, oh Lord. Forgive Christianity in Nigeria. We have gotten it wrong this time. I think this is also similar to what Reno Omokri said, because that the church took a gamble and it didn't come out in the way that it was envisaged. So I remember reading, I don't usually read it, but I remember seeing a news item in which even Reno was complaining about the role the church played in this whole thing. The pastor said Obi will come second in the race. I don't know, maybe at the end of the court case, Obi will come second. But in the election, against his prediction, Obi didn't come second, Obi came third. So are they going to bring somebody who came third and make him the winner?
They've started talking about inauguration now. We've left the election now. So that's your God has been talking to you about the inauguration. But come May 29, if Bola Tinubu is inaugurated as the president again, what are you going to say?
No,
there's even a man of God, that one I think is preaching from outside the country. He was talking about how the election should be undone. That God should
council should not stand.
Yes, that should not stand.
And there should be a wave of violence,
You are
wave
in
of
the US.
opposition.
You are in the US. You are calling for something that will cause instability in the country and everything, and you're a man of God.
I think we should ask ourselves the first question for the benefit of those that are watching us. Are there prophets? Yes. Are there true prophets? Yes. In the Quran, there are 25 prophets are recognized by Muslims. Also in Christianity, there are a lot of wonderful prophets. And then, are there men of God? Oh, yes. Do we have genuine prophets in Nigeria? Absolutely. But I think now we have a situation where majority of those who claim to be prophets are just out to commercialize religion. How do we know? Most of the prophets have come out to be totally off mark.
I mean, God didn't speak to you.
What they just do is to study the society and make some assumptions. Does God speak to people? God speaks to everyone. If you're a good listener, even in your dreams, there are things you will see about the future, and they will happen. So if you can develop yourself spiritually,
talking about Chelsea and Arsenal match.
You know,
I don't even listen to that one again.
The point is that especially the Nigerians, the human mind is so fragile. Don't forget about whether they are professors or doctors. You can easily manipulate. If you grind some charcoal, take it to Oshodi now, say this thing cure COVID, some people will buy. You just need some people to say, oh, I used it yesterday. They will start buying. They are so ignorant. The mind is so fragile that you can easily manipulate it. Because some people even said, even this one you are playing, some said there will be no election.
Yes.
There will be no election.
Yes. That one in Ibadan. Yes, I watched that one.
That was why people kept asking me, did there be election?
And he was saying that because if it's God that actually called him,
that there won't be election.
There won't be election.
The role of pastors is not to polarize their church along political lines. You need to, realize that your congregation, there are people who are in PRP, people who are in the APC. So when you now come and start allow them. Everybody. It's even an infringement on the rights of individuals. We have seen where religion has made a lot of contribution to human liberation. In Latin America, they call it liberation theology. They deal with the problem of electricity, education. But when you now come to church and then the politicians will visit you, after that you start talking about certain things you have seen in your dream. So you start wondering, some people seems to have collected money and they are just trying to give these prophecies to give false sense of hope to their followers. So I think it's a very dangerous. I know that in US you can't do this. There are laws, codes of conduct. You can't come and begin to
they did it under Donald Trump, saying Donald Trump is a Christian, Donald Trump will win his re-election, and they all came back, most of them, they were apologizing to the country. That is what our pastors, they failed to do. Because most of them in America that predicted that Donald Trump was going to come back and everything, they gathered together after the election and they apologized to their congregations.
These ones will never apologize. Every electoral season, they will come back and tell us lies upon lies. And you see people are now becoming wiser. Because if God has not spoken to you, and you now come and say God has told you this, and God does not lie. If God tells you something, it must come to pass.
Yes.
That's what the God that we know.
You know what someone even said, sorry, so that I don't forget. Someone said, how can a pastor say that he saw Peter Obi winning an election? That God told him that Peter Obi will win the election. And then when it didn't come to pass, you are now saying it's rigging. That's not how God functions.
Yeah.
Because
anyhow, he must win.
Yes.
God,
since God has said
it must come to pass.
It must
Since
come to
it's
pass.
God, if it's the word of God,
change it.
nothing will change it.
So God will stop through
We've
rigging.
seen people who rigged and still didn't win election.
Yes.
That their rigging couldn't even help them to win the election.
So it was the rigging that stopped God's
you cannot then look
prediction.
for an excuse.
You
can't look for an excuse for God.
Can you imagine?
If it was truly...
So rigging stopped God.
If it was truly... What is rigging to God? What is rigging? That God cannot get above rigging? I mean, what is all this? So don't look for the excuse that, God show you that he will win. But it was rigged. No man can stand before
God and
change God's prophecy. No man.
Some people are even advocating that they stay off. Look for how people will go to the kingdom of God.
That is the best thing.
And
Salvation.
The kingdom of God and his righteousness, all every other thing.
Baba Adeboye was saying something that...
God did not show him anything.
Baba Adeboye was saying something that somebody wanted progress. That he now asked the woman, how many souls have you salvaged? Because this is... turned a new leaf and began winning souls. She experienced a boom, an improvement in her position. So this is the way God works. We are not pastors. But at the same time, it's embarrassing to see a man claim to be hearing from God. And then, in the end, we see that what you said you heard from God did not happen. People will just see them as people just trying to corner people. You know, and that's not what we want to see. Because as a Christian, you can't be happy about it. Especially one born and raised in a Christian family.
Yes,
it diminishes you. It diminishes you as a person to see those things happening. What Father Ejike Baka did, I'm not surprised. Because if I were in his shoes, I would do the same things. Because they've tarred everybody with the same brush. Whereas we know pastors who stayed away from making political declarations.
Keep quiet.
Baba Adeboye never opened his mouth to make political...
God has not told him.
Yes.
You know, and he kept quiet.
He kept quiet.
And God had have shown him something, but he was just looking.
Now, you can see Baba Adeboye, I remember in 1997, my sister went to the camp. And Baba said, some seemingly immovable mountains will be moved this year. He said it. And one immovable mountain was moved that year by way of the death of someone. And Nigeria moved on. So I just heard Baba say this. That's the level of trust that people have for him, because it's not someone who will just simply say something. No, that's not his style. And God does not speak to people routinely.
Yes.
That is the mistake. You make it look like, look at some of the funny prophets that we are seeing now. We even want to prophesy every day. On newspaper pages, you see them. No, that's not how God works. That's not how God works. That everything you want, you have told your opinion.
Your opinion.
Your opinion. You now call it the opinion of God.
La Liga, the winner of La Liga, the winner of Man U Arsenal.
You start cursing a member of the congregation that decide to vote against your own wish. You see some of them on video. Say if you you must go out and vote.
One even said you will flog.
Go and vote.
You will flog.
It's quite embarrassing.
No one even said if you vote for so party, you are going to be the one to suffer for 8 years. That me, I'm comfortable. I will not.
It's their money that he used to make himself comfortable.
You know, I'm comfortable.
It's their tithe and offering.
You will suffer for 8 years. Go and vote for that party.
It's their tithe to. If anybody too can be comfortable, if they are paying tithe to you, they are paying offering to you.
I've told you.
You know,
vote for this party.
If you are a father in Israel, and people are coming to you, they are giving you gift, and why won't you be comfortable? You will be comfortable. So
you made predictions here, almost 98% correct. And you didn't say God is
coming from God.
I can't say I'm not.
I wouldn't even ascribe this to God. You just look at this, your training, your experience, and everything. You just put it together. Yes.
How many weeks do I even go to church? You know, how many weeks do I even have time to go to church? But one makes prediction and it comes true. Some people would think, are you a fool? How did you come to the conclusion? This is an APC state, you know? Some of my friends called me when I said both Sokoto and Kebbi, PDP will win in the presidential election. Some of my friends were very angry. They called me and said, why? Who told you? It did not happen. Both states were won by Atiku. Those friends have not called me since then. You see the way they fought me. Now, what are you talking about? No, and you will see that we are going to win. APC will win. I said, the only thing that I think will happen is what I will say. It's not about you harassing me.
And some states you didn't talk about it. We didn't see it coming.
Yes.
Because we are not God.
No.
We didn't see the defeat of Bola Tinubu in the presidential election in Lagos. How would they have presented that?
Anybody that I spoke with, you know, because I do plenty of research. Anybody, even if that person was drunk, he will not tell me that.
This Lagos will go down.
We never saw it coming. It's as simple as that.
Simple.
You know,
dishonest people.
By the time they came with serious mobilization for the next election, we saw that the tide changed, and they won by a hefty margin. In fact, if you add the votes of the person who came second to Sanwo-Olu, if you add it to the person who came third,
together,
and then you now multiply it by 2, Sanwo-Olu will still win the election. That's to tell you that the margin was hefty.
Both Gbadebo, Roosevelt, and Jandor
add their votes
together
and multiply by 2. Sanwo-Olu, who scored more than 700,000, will still win. You know, so this is the value of working harder, mobilizing harder. Yes, there was violence, but according to INEC record, 84 polling stations.
Yes.
The whole of Lagos. And Lagos had more than 13,000 polling units. So,
and for you to use that same brush to paint the whole...
Yes, as if everywhere...
It's not up to 1%.
It's not up to 1% in the real sense of the word. No, so... but we don't want to see even that level. We don't want to see it anywhere, whether it is in one place. We want to see elections where everybody can go and vote. That is what we desire to see. You know, so that people don't think that we tolerate violence. No, we don't tolerate it. I said it on Your View. I said, we don't want that kind of violence. Let people go and vote.
Without being suppressed.
Yes. If you work hard, if you mobilize sufficiently, you will still win the election. So, don't harass people.
Our Father in the Lord, please, we respect you. We love and respect you. Stay out of politics. Just stay out of
for your own good.
Stay out of these predictions and everything. Because another Bola Tinubu,
they
will make you a laughing stock.
That's not what we want to see.
If it has been destined, it has been destined. There's nothing you can do about it. If you like fast with your church members, do everything. If God is with somebody.
No, if God is what God wants, that's what will prevail. And let's genuinely hear from God. If you've not genuinely heard from God, don't come and tell us that God said. You know, if it was during the Old Testament era, during the, you know, when you talk like that,
immediately
instantly,
something will happen.
Judgment.
Yes, now it doesn't wait.
Look at, I think it was these people now who put money together.
Ananias and
Sapphira.
Yes,
they saw the job. It's their money.
It's their own money.
It's their money. Let's forget.
They have to
out of it.
Yes,
you know?
New Testament. They have to go and they have to bring.
It's their money. It's not as if he stole. He just didn't declare
100%.
100%.
Died.
He edited part of
the money.
And then he paid.
Can't lie to the Holy Spirit.
Even when God sent a prophet to King Hezekiah, he went to him privately and said, "Look, this is what God has told me." He didn't call a press conference. He just went privately to him. And you are going to die. And the man, okay, he started praying.
Yeah,
Before the prophet left,
yes, I don't have a successor.
God changed his mind.
Yes,
Look,
go and tell
for
him.
15 years. He didn't call the whole town to say this man is going to die. Sometimes
Commercialize
private affair. You don't need to make.
Some have commercialized prophecy. You commercialize prophecy. That's why every day you see them coming out to say, "This is what will happen. This is what will happen."
All right, and finally, the season of Ramadan fasting is upon us, and it is expected that Muslim women engaging in the fasts will have more responsibilities added to their busy schedules. This has seen the demand for domestic help and cooks go up, with most working women having to manage household chores, including cooking, domestic help, and cooks expect higher wages, as the Ramadan fast is an occasion when families' priority for elaborate dishes on the dinner table is pretty high. How can women successfully juggle the task without burning out and still faithfully participate in the fasts? Joining us to discuss this is Dr. Aisha Aminu Sanchi, a humanitarian and development expert advisor to Kebbi State Health Financing USAID Integrated Health Program. So how do you juggle it during this, holy month of Ramadan? The responsibility of being a mother, you have to participate in the fast too, and at the end of the day, you wake up so early in the morning. If Sari is going to be by 5 a.m., that means before 5.
You still prepare the children for school.
Prepare children for school. I'm waking up to prepare the iftar in the morning.
As a working class woman, I can tell you that it has not been easy because during the month of Ramadan, our duties doubles up with already existing work family conflict. Now, in addition, is the line chain of activities during the month of Ramadan. Usually Ramadan comes with a series of line of activities, personal commitment, intense prayers aimed at moving close to Allah, because that is the whole aim of the Ramadan itself. It has a lot of conflicting and a lot of demand in terms of the timing, so I try to relate them strongly with efficient time management and also realistic plans. From after iftar, the line of menus that is expected of me to prepare for breaking of fast, to also what is expected of me around 4 a.m. in the morning, which is suhoor, and also planning for routine work that I'm expected to be in the office, to also attend to my deliverables. So I try I try to get help at all levels, support basically at all levels, support from my husband, support from the family members, and also support from the organization and my colleagues. From my husband's end, it entails a lot of understanding from his side that I have little time with a lot of activities. Remember, Ramadan being one of the strong, also the third pillar of Islam. As a Muslim, I also want to attain all those beneficial prayer moments and strive towards prayers. There is barely little time for one to sleep. So from his side, I try to make him understand and how he can support me in the areas of the children, dropping them sometimes in school while I try to manage the house before I go to the office. And in the office, again, I try to ensure that all my deliverables are met. Where I need support of a colleague, I engage them to support me to meet up with those deliverables. And then at family level, again, Ramadan usually, aside from the normal menu, it comes with a series of, so many dishes have to be prepared. And some family also visit to cook plenty of food so that they can share out in form of charity. So I try to engage the support of family members to help in that regard, so that I will be able to meet up. Because where you also again is the issue of the cost, looking at the high rate of inflation, and also when you have to prepare so many menus, there is that understanding, like I mentioned earlier, that you really need to seek from your husband, from the family members, from the organization where you work. I know there used to be some of the government of Kebbi State and some other states. There used to be a circular before that they issue out during Ramadan for the reduction of an hour or two to enable workers attend to spiritual meetings and also other domestic issues, but it hasn't been fully implemented. Some states are not still keen into that, and also some organizations have not been implementing and that, because usually it's supposed to be a circular from the federal government. But still,
all right, madam,
as a woman, yeah, I believe in making it possible, and I try to ensure that I manage my time efficiently to meet up with the demands.
Okay, what are the best benefits of Ramadan?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, Ramadan is one of the pillars as a Muslim, is the third after believing in Allah and the belief in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second is Salat. Then the third pillar, as every Muslim, is a Ramadan, fasting in the month of Ramadan. It is in that month of Ramadan that the Holy Book, the Quran, was revealed, and it is in the Ramadan that we experience the night of power, where it is also known as the night of decree. In that night, all affairs of the creation are decreed, and it will manifest like in the coming year. So as Muslim, the purpose of Ramadan is to attain taqwa. Taqwa is the consciousness of Allah. And also because in Quran chapter 2 verses 183, Allah says, "O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting, as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may attain consciousness of Allah." So Ramadan is a protective shield against hellfire. And in the month of Ramadan, all gates of heaven are opened, with all the gates of hell being closed. So it is expected that while you fast, you pray to Allah, you give charity, that you move close to Allah, and all your sins are wiped out, and you pray to Allah for things, the blessings, and every other thing. And it is a pillar that among those 5 pillars of Islam, if you leave one, is you're saying, "I'm not a Muslim." So for every Muslim, Ramadan is fasting in the month of Ramadan is one of the pillars of Islam. So it is obligatory for all Muslims, being a man or a woman. Basically, that is what I can say about some of the benefits of Ramadan.
Okay. Madam, what we usually see, madam, is a situation in which people fast for that whole month, they then go back to sin. Why is this happening? Will the person who has gone back to sin get the reward for the fasting that he had during the holy month?
I can say for the fasting, if it is done, innamal a'malu binniyat, like the Imam have always taught us that whatever you do, God will look at your intention first, and the reward is based on that intention. Remember, even the Ramadan itself, from the one, you have to make that intention of performing it. And so that you have good intention, it is one of the pillars as a Muslim, and you you observe it for the whole month, you will be rewarded for that. But what you do after that, again, if you sin, definitely God will also, it will be written in your books that you have sinned. So it is also a month that people seek for forgiveness for all the things that they knew they do, which is wrong. But of course, on one hand is that sin which you do between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which He can forgive you because He is Al-Ghafurur Rahim. But whatever you do, like you cheat a colleague, you cheat your wife, you cheat a child, that is between you and that person, and it is only that person that can forgive you before Allah can forgive you. So people fasting, Ramadan should be like a learning, a sort of a learning means, so that if we can continue from the practice of Ramadan, then I can tell you that so many of these things will not be there. But it's unfortunate that after Ramadan, that people still go back to doing the normal things that are sinful to Allah. So you will get your reward for fasting if you do it in compliance with how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed. And again, immediately after fasting, if you go back to your sinning, then definitely you will be punished for that, because you may not know whether you will still be alive to witness the next coming Ramadan. So there are two different things. It's not a guarantee that I observe all this, the holy month with sacrifice, with memorization of the Quran, with a lot of prayers, and immediately after Ramadan, I delve into all sorts of sinful acts because I feel maybe next Ramadan I will still.
Is it permitted?
No, it's not permitted at whether Ramadan or not Ramadan. Anyway, you said drink. I don't know which drink. Which drink? Are you referring to alcohol?
Alcohol.
Yeah. No, alcohol is generally forbidden for a Muslim. So whether in the Ramadan or not Ramadan, it is not expected for a Muslim to drink. Because whatever, Ramadan itself, is obligatory for somebody that is able, sane, adult. And we know that sometimes when you take alcohol at some point, to some people, I don't say generally, to some people, it's like move them out of their normal sense, because we've seen situations where somebody will drink and will be walking like, staggering, saying all sorts of things. I don't know whether it's from the type of the drink. Yes. So in that state, you cannot even fast. So it is not permissible for a Muslim to drink, whether in Ramadan or after he breaks his fast or after Ramadan.
Okay, Aya, do you think the Ramadan has any significant impact on pregnant women and nursing mothers?
Yes, it has, because like the nursing mother, now globally we advocate for exclusive breastfeeding, and then it is expected that the child within 0 to 6 months should only feed on breast milk, not even water. So the water is expected to come from the breast milk that she is giving. So the mother, nursing mother, will expect to take a lot of water, to eat healthy foods, to be able to meet up with the demand of the child, because he will be suckling one, two from her. So Islam permits that when you are pregnant and you feel that fasting, you cannot go through the rigor of staying from morning till evening before you eat. You cannot fast. It is allowed. It is allowed that whatever will subject you into too much stress that might even affect your health. So a pregnant mother is, I'm not saying not a healthy woman, but she has some other compromising issues that she needs to take care of, especially the baby in her womb. So it is permissible for her Islamically not to fast until after fasting, or even after fasting, if she is breastfeeding, she still cannot fast until when she stops breastfeeding. And then our imams usually tell us what to do. So after fasting, she still feel that, okay, now I'm okay, I can fast. Because though Islam is not saying that because you did not fast Ramadan, you are forgiven. Definitely she would have to fast. She would have to repay the number of days that she was not able to fast. Yes. So it can be immediately after the fasting, after a year, where she cannot, there are provision of feeding the poor, like giving charity to the poor in lieu of the fasting.
All right, madam.
So a sick woman, a pregnant woman, and a traveler, it is permissible in Islam. You are traveling for a long, for like some hours, you can withhold fasting until after fasting, then you will pay.
Okay. I want to thank you for your contribution, Aisha Aminu, the Special Advisor on Health Financing to the Government of Kebbi State. Thank you so much for your contribution. And I think July is the day 11, the fasting period, and 19 more days to go. Yeah. Some of us, we have friends that are actually Muslim. Julie, you asked one question. It's not allowed in Islam to drink alcohol, and in Christianity too, it's not advisable to drink. So who are those consuming?
we are both infringing on the law.
Honestly, who are those consuming?
Both Christians and Muslims.
Nigeria is declared support.
Every year.
Declares to support the support.
Every year.
So it's not allowed. So who are those?
Who are the people responsible for those profits?
Big question. Big poser to our viewers.
I like the Muslim holy month.
Yes.
Of Ramadan, because it brings out the humanity in us. This is the season when a lot of sharing takes place. You know, you care for the needy. Allah wants us to care for the needy, and this is the season when people in need, you need to give them. You know, it's one of the things where I like, and where I like the fasting season. And remember when we were in school, we would join them in eating their eating sari. We would join them
for iftar.
Yes, we join them in eating, and it's still like that. You know, if I was in Abuja, for example, some of my friends, we join
break
them,
with them, we break fast with them.
You know, we pray with them and all that. So it's I just hope that we as Nigerians, we can imbibe the teachings of the Holy Prophet of Islam, as well as Jesus Christ. If we can just emulate their conduct a little bit.
Just go to church.
If we can just emulate the conduct of the Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace be unto him, and Jesus Christ, honestly, these problems that we have in our world, they won't be there. But we just read and read, but we don't do those things that we are enjoined to do.
You go to crusades, you go to churches.
The Ramadan has also shown that Christianity and Islam, they are both, you know, ideas of God, one God, you know. Because Christians have just finished their own, when they have their Lent, it's for 40 days.
This is Palm Sunday.
Yeah.
When Jesus Christ enters Jerusalem in a triumphant way.
It's a reflection of how Angel Gabriel spoke to Prophet Muhammad. Peace be unto him. So we are one religion. There's just no need for us to fight each other from the same
part of the world.
We are one.
From the Middle East.
Yeah.
All right. I want to thank you, Wale Adeoye, Thank you for this edition of Journalist Hangout on Sunday. And the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, thank you for being the executive director of this production in the last 120 minutes.
Thank you for being the executive anchor.
And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of Journalist Hangout by 5 p.m. But you can watch the repeat tonight by 11 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzuba. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
The Shared Prosperity Weekly TV series on TVC News. It is through this telecast the viewers get to know what is happening in the prosperity government of His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodinma, the Executive Governor of Imo State. Through this program, all questions agitating the minds of citizens and residents of Imo State are answered in details with documentary evidence. Don't miss it. Keep a date with us every Sunday on TVC News by 9 p.m.
On Nigerian maritime domain.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
You and Your Health is brought to you by Doctors Save a Life Foundation.
Far beyond witches and wizards is the root cause of health problem of many in Africa. Seek professional advice concerning that your health matter.
Save a Life Foundation is an NGO with a unique vision of giving total health for all through the power of knowledge. Your health is your strength. Your health is your prosperity. Your health is your life. Give it professional attention. You and Your Health
with Dr. Richard Okoye, now on TVC News every Sunday by 3:30 p.m.
Welcome back. You are still on You and Your Health. I remain your friend, Dr. Richard Okoye, the president of Doctors Save a Life Foundation, a non-governmental organization with a clear vision of giving total health to the people of Africa through the power of knowledge. Regrettable to mention that our people have died enough. We don't have any proof. We don't have any convincing evidence to show that whatever we are doing regarding the health of our people is better off. It is time for us to say, come, let all reason together. Nigerian life expectancy is 55 years against the global average of 72. How could we accept that? It's unacceptable. And that's why I call you, as we are on this series, understanding the modern medical treatment in the eyes of new technology. We have so many cars doing so many marvelous things. We're talking even about self-driving cars and all that kind of a thing. Can't you think that God himself, who has provided all those things for our comfort, can't you think more about the health of the people that could also enjoy it? A lot has been done, but ignorance keep on killing our people in this side of the world. They will tell you what you are passing through right now is an enemy. Friend, can you drop that ideology? Let us start from the known. They will tell you that your friend right now, your loved one, your children suffering whatever they are suffering, and they will tell you, somebody tie my womb, somebody do this one. How long can we remain in this trash? Come Come on. If it's a challenge, let us face it. It's enough. All right. So that's why we started this series. If you missed part 1, you check out it on our Facebook page. It's an amazing thing on the mysterious origin of stomach and chest pain. Amazing thing, you can't afford to miss it. And that's why I encourage you to follow this series. Come on, it's gonna be amazing, because what we are doing here is not like speaking to you like a medical doctor with all the pathophysiologists and all that, but getting you to understand it in your own language. Okay, so we go today on a very, very serious mission. What happens when people stool blood? So you see blood everywhere. Come on, what's going on? Most time people will get to the hospital and they will be told that their blood level is low. Whereas to them, they can't understand where they are bleeding from. I will also show you that the stool you are pulling out can contain invisible blood you don't even know. I will show you today, then you will see.